Hi, Hannah. This is Dr. Vicky. Today is Thursday, the 6th of August. Good to meet you. I was going to go over your Capstone project update survey with you to make sure that everybody's on the same page about what a challenge is, what a challenge isn't, what a business intelligence solution is, and what it isn't, so that from month 5 or 8, whichever you're in, to month 12, when you actually compile your final capstone project, you have all the time to work on it with all the information that you need. I see here that you did choose Kroger's. Kroger's is a personal favorite of mine because I grew up shopping at Kroger's. What is the working title of your capstone project? Returning to normal, maintaining the e-commerce momentum from the coronavirus epidemic. That has the sounds of a really, really good title, but we'll return to that here in a minute because I'm not sure if this is going to lead to a business intelligence challenge and solution necessarily versus a sales management or marketing management solution, which is not what we're doing as business intelligence professionals. So let's look a little farther. Consumer defensive and grocery stores, that is the accurate sector. Let's look at your challenge. Kroger is currently experiencing growth that has placed its revenue to pre-2017 levels. E-commerce is up 92% with Kroger's recent Restock Kroger initiative. Kroger needs to continue the e-commerce momentum once the virus begins to subside. Many customers report issues with out-of-stock items, misplaced items. Kroger needs to improve the customer service. That is saying a whole lot. That is encompassing a huge amount of material. But I'm not seeing actually any real data supported in here for what you're saying, other than e-commerce is up 92%. And I'm not sure where you got that. When you start stating facts like that, you need to let us know where you got them so that we can go look them. E-commerce might be up 92%, but are you saying e-commerce is up 92% with Kroger's online orders or in general? I'm not sure what you're saying there. And saying Kroger is currently experiencing growth that has placed its revenue to pre-2017 levels, that's not telling me what the levels are. That's not actually using data. We need to, when we're saying things like that, we need to say revenue is up 10% year over year, 2020 over 19, and 7% 2019 over 2018. You have to be very specific in business intelligence when you're talking data. So just saying pre-17 levels, that's really not saying anything. That's not using data to say absolutely anything. And customers reporting issues with out-of-stock items, misplaced items, and more queue times when questioned about e-commerce use, and they need to improve the customer service experience. That might be true, but where are you getting that information? Again, where's the data that supports what you're saying? If you're going to use things like this, you're going to have actually have data that's saying out of 30,000 customers who posted reviews on Kroger's site, 37% of them report this and 27%. You have to actually use data. You can't say many customers. That doesn't say anything. So you have to use real data. So we'll get to that here in a minute. And a business intelligence solution, create a unified e-commerce portal connecting all stores and in-store paid shoppers to find the goods and services they need. Again, that's not a data-driven business intelligence solution. That is a sales solution. That is a customer service solution. How are you going to use a business intelligence platform such as Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, Azure, Sisense, all of the business intelligence software and vendors that you researched a couple classes ago? Were any of them e-commerce? Now, e-commerce creates a lot of data itself, that's true, but just creating an e-commerce portal, that is not a business intelligence proposal. That is a customer service proposal. That's on the other side of the spectrum. We have to always keep in mind where we are in this chain. You are on the business intelligence side. Over here is the business management side, the decision makers who are going to decide whether they need a unified e-commerce panel. This is not for you to decide. What we do as business intelligence professionals is we take data, real, live, proven, documented data. We put it through a system. We visualize results and trends and what's happening to be able to show those insights to the decision makers who make the decisions. As the business intelligence professional is not the one that decides what to do with the insights. They provide the insights and the decision makers decide that. So we need to be very clear on not crossing that line. So what I need from you is, what is the data? If I'm Kroger's, you've got to show me some hardcore data to show me where there's a challenge or opportunity that I need to immediately address using business intelligence. Okay, which means using my data in a more effective way to drive decisions. So again, it's not our responsibility to make the decision. It's our responsibility to use data to highlight challenges and opportunities, show those insights to the managers who will make those decisions. We don't do all of that. We can't cross that line. So I'm not sure how a unified e-commerce portal is going to be a business intelligence solution. Again, that's a customer service marketing solution. Now, will that in and of itself generate a lot of data that could be put through a business intelligence? Yes, but that is not the actual business intelligence solution. Okay, so for example, I went and put some information for Kroger's, as you can see here. This is Kroger's. I went to the Yahoo financial site where you got your data, and I went and got some just basic numbers for Kroger's. And right here under this, if you look down here, it says financial data input. I only used 5 categories for Kroger's: revenue, gross profit, operating expenses, operating profit, and net profit. And what I did is I went in for 2020, 19, 18, and 17, and I input these numbers. I just input these numbers right here. Okay, now after I did that, I go over here to my financial report. See right here where it says 2020? Now I can analyze the data to see if I can find a data-driven challenge. Now, the challenge we find might be driven by the fact that they are out of stock or something like that, but you have to use this data to find a challenge to address with business intelligence. So if you look right here, I'll give you this report as well. You can click here and pick what year that we're talking about. So we're going to start at 2020 because that's the most recent financial statement that Kroger's has. And all of these numbers down here, revenue, gross profit, operating expenses, this year 2020, those automatically import based on what I put over here, okay? They automatically populated here. So we have 2020's numbers here and 2019. Then I look up here. This is what I want you to look at right here. In 2020, the revenues were 122,286. And what's it say here? Up 1%. That means in 2020, the revenues were up 1% over 2019. But, however, the operating profit was down 14%. Down 14%. The gross profit was up, but the operating profit was down. Operating expenses were up 5%, and net profit was down 47%. Now let's put that in context so that you can see how this is a challenge, a data-driven challenge. One, are we using actual data, financial results published by Kroger's? Yes. Can they argue that this is fake numbers or it's opinions? No, it's data. It's their data, it's published, they can't argue with the data. That's first. That's why you can't use opinions and you just can't make broad statements. You have to use data. Now, revenues. Everything starts with sales, doesn't it? If revenues are increasing, if revenues are increasing, profits should increase, right? Because if you're bringing more revenue in, what's left at the end of the day should come up too. So if revenues increase 1%, your net profit, what's left, should also increase at least 1%. Did it? Absolutely not. It's going the other direction. We brought in more money, but we spent it along the way and have less profit. That's a problem. That is a data-driven challenge. Gross profit's up 3%. What is gross profit? It's revenues minus the cost of all of the groceries that they paid to bring them in the store. So they did good there. If revenues are up 1 and gross profit's up 3, they're paying less for their groceries that they're bringing into the store. That's great. So we didn't lose it in cost of groceries bought. But operating profit itself was down 14%. Why is that? Right here. Operating expenses are up 5%. Now, a quick lesson in budgeting and financial statements. Every budget, every year for every company is based on revenues and sales. It starts with revenues and sales. They budget whatever they think that's going to be. And then every other line on the financial statement is as a percentage of the revenue. So if revenue is supposed to go up 10%, all of the other lines are based on that same 10%. So what I'm saying is the other lines should trend up and down very closely to the same amount that revenue is. So for example, if salary is 20% of revenue, if revenue goes up, you have more money to spend on salaries, right? But you can't increase salaries by more than you're increasing sales or you're out of balance. So what's happening here, Kroger is, their operating expenses are up 5% and the revenues are only up 1%. So the operating expenses are increasing at a higher rate than revenue. And that's a problem. That's a data-driven challenge. The operating expenses should not be up any more than revenue is up. Revenue is up 1%. Operating expenses should not be up any more than 1%. Net profit should be up at least 1%. Because again, we're bringing 1% more in, but we're losing it. We're not managing it. We're losing it before it gets to what's left. So what's a data-driven challenge here? While revenues, here's a good statement for you. While revenues are increasing 1%, 2020 over 2019, operating profit is down 14%. Operating expenses are increasing 5%, resulting in a decrease in net profit of 47%. The challenge is to match expenses with revenues in real time, daily, so that they can be adjusted by the decision makers, resulting in increased net profit. Okay, so that's a data-driven challenge. What would a potential business intelligence solution be to this? In general, what I would say is, I don't care which company or software or vendor you use. You have to pick a vendor, you have to pick a business intelligence software, how you're going to use it, who it's going to provide information to, and how it's going to fix it. So what I would say here, just for example, because in this course we're using Power BI, I would say Kroger's using Microsoft's Power BI will provide dashboards in real time daily to frontline decision makers so they can adjust operating expenses to match the trend in revenue up or down to preserve net profit. That is a business intelligence platform, Microsoft Power BI. What you're going to use in it, dashboards in real time to who? Frontline decision makers to do what? adjust these operating expenses daily, because if revenue for Thursday and Friday is up 3%, operating expenses need to not be up any more than 3%. If revenue is down 5%, they know they need to adjust their operating expenses down. They need to send some of the part-timers home, save some labor, whatever they need to do. They have the data in real time every day to make those decisions. Okay, so that's how a data-driven solution and challenge works. And you can use this same chart right here and click on, is this just a one-year thing or is it continuing? Let's look at 2019. In 2019, revenues were down 1%. Operating expenses were down. So 2019, they did a really good job. Net profit was up even though revenues was down. So let's look at 2018. In 2018, here we go again. Revenues were up 6%, while operating expenses increased 11%, resulting in a net profit down 3%. So again, they are not matching operating expenses to trends in revenues to preserve net income. That is a data-driven challenge, okay? We can look at 17, but since we didn't have information for 16 to compare 17 to, there is not a 17. So I'm gonna send you this chart. This is just an example of how to use real data to outline and define a problem in business intelligence. Keep in mind, business intelligence, data, visualizations, trends, insights. What are the insights? What we just talked about. While revenues are increasing, net profit is decreasing. What do we need? A business intelligence solution that allows frontline decision makers in real time to match operating expenses to the trends in revenues. That's what we're looking at here. A business intelligence person uses data and visualizations to highlight trends and point out things that they see. They give that information to the decision makers who decides what to do with it. We don't decide what to do with it. We use the data like I'm showing you right here to highlight that something is not working exactly right. We give the information to the decision makers. They're the ones that will adjust the expenses or create new programs. We just need to tell them how to use Power BI or Tableau or Sisense or Azure or any of those to fix what's wrong here. Now I'm going to send you this Excel spreadsheet as well so you can play with it. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. Wait to see what you come up with. Let's go.